and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, hi, hey, hello, my name is Meg and we do crafty things here. So if you like crafty things, please do consider subscribing. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing and tuning in to another video. So today we're going to put a little twist on things. Yes, I posted this picture on Instagram and Bracelet Book, and I've been getting tons of messages about how I did it. So we're going to do this bit more of a beginner tutorial. Since our last one was more advanced, it's only fair to even it out. So we're going to put a twist on this classic today, quite literally. This is just, it's a great way to elevate your basics if you're maybe not ready to jump to another pattern, or you just don't want to memorize another pattern and you're on a trip or something. This is a great way to just bring it to another level. So in this case, I've done a double chevron connected together and a twist in the middle. But for today's video, I'm going to do a braided chevron so you guys can kind of see there's some options. So I've gone ahead and I've cut 3 packets of string here, 3 sets of string. These are wingspan in length, plus about fingertip to elbow, just because you are going to need a little bit extra to knot it and braid it and have the same length, because your bracelet isn't laying completely flat once you've braided it, if that makes sense. So I've already folded them half and knotted them. The important thing to remember here for beginners is just try to make your loops about the same size so that your chevrons all line up nicely. Otherwise you could get some stretching and leaning and stuff that can make it kind of wonky. Now, because I'm at a table, I'm going to be using tape today, but use whatever securing, anchoring method you prefer. If you've wanted to try tape and you're having difficulty with it staying, I suggest putting a piece down sticky side up, putting your string on it, and then taking a longer piece of tape and sandwiching your string in between it and taping that down to the table. That should stop your string from slipping, and then you can anchor with as much tape as you need. As you guys can see, I use a lot because I knot quite tightly, which means I pull on the strings pretty hard. Now, we get to a part where this is kind of personal preference. For me, I like kind of a separated look at the top and the bottom anytime I double up or triple up a pattern. As you can see here, like I do one color pass as if it's 2 different bracelets, then join them together, and do the same at the bottom on the other end here as well. I don't know why. I think it was because when I started, it was easier to manage like a single bracelet and get the strings sorted and then join them than to join them off the top. But if you want to join them from the first row, be my guest. You are more than welcome to. It's your bracelet. Do as you please. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to treat these as 3 separate bracelets and do just a basic chevron on all of them. So working from the right hand side into the center with my dark blue string, that's backwards knots, and from the left hand side of this particular bracelet into the center with my dark blue string, that's going to be forwards knots. I'm not going to spend any more time really explaining how to do a chevron. I will link my tutorial for a chevron in the cards here. It is a little bit old, so if the quality is not up to what you need to be able to figure it out, there are plenty of tutorials here on YouTube that you should be able to find that can guide you, maybe with a little bit of a clearer image than mine does. At this point, I'm going to do that across all 3 of these bracelets, as if they were all 3 just simple chevrons, being careful to keep the string from the other bracelets out of the way. I'm going to do this for 1 color pass on each one, but again, that's totally up to you guys whether you split them at all to begin with. Do have to say that I pulled this color combo off of like a color inspiration Instagram page, and I was like, yeah, it looks okay. But once I got it started, I was just getting such great summer vibes from it, and it just was so cheery. I really loved this color combo. So it just brought me the cheer I needed this week. My car got wrecked, so things are a little bit stressful right now, but this bracelet was making me quite happy. So let me know about you guys. Do bracelets make you happy like that? And what are you guys up to this week? Hopefully you have had a better week than I have, but let me know down in the comments down below. Now, like I said, I'm treating these all as separate bracelets, so I've gone ahead and jumped into the middle one now that I've completed one color pass on that rightmost one, and I'm going to do the exact same thing, just a full color pass of chevrons. Now, I originally learned this technique from a site called Heather's Friendship Bracelets. I don't think it's still in existence, but this pattern originally, or this technique, she had used candy stripe in it, so you could definitely do that, and she did completely solid bracelets. I decided to use chevrons and multicolors. It's all up to preference, and you could use a completely different pattern if you wanted to. Any pattern that you can double up, you can use for this. I don't personally at present have a doubling and halving tutorial, but Masha definitely does, so if you do need that, I will link it in the description down below if you want to know more about doubling up patterns. I just chose to use chevron because I think it could start to look a little too, I was afraid it would look too busy if I did another pattern like a dovetail or something. It might look a little much, but that's personal preference again. So I've never tried it with anything other than candy stripe or chevron, so I'm not sure how it would look. So if you guys do it with something other than candy stripe or chevron and you post a picture on Instagram or something, tag me so I can see it. I'd be interested in seeing how it turns out. At this point, we're going to move into our last set of strings and do one full color pass in our chevrons before we start connecting them all together. Start doing the more exciting part. Now we get to the exciting part where we make these 3 separate bracelets into one. So connecting them together, I'm going to start with the 2 on the right hand side here. And to connect these together, I'm going to find the innermost strings on both of them. So because my colors are lined up, these will both be dark blue strings. And I'm going to take the leftmost dark blue on the right hand bracelet and the rightmost blue on the middle bracelet. And I'm just going to knot them together. Because they're both blue, it doesn't matter which way you knot it. It's going to end up blue, so it really doesn't matter. And then I'm going to carry on as if I never made that knot. And we're just carrying on with our blue string as our knotting string to do the next stripe in our chevron. But now you might be thinking, we're reaching this left side, do I have to do anything different here? No, exactly like I said, just take the blue string that is on the right hand side and pretend like it's your normal knotting string. You haven't made any knots with it, and just carry on with your regular chevron, doing forwards knots into the center of your bracelet, over all your strings, just like you would a normal chevron. And when you hit that center point, you're going to knot together your 2 dark blue strings. Now that we have completed that one, to do the full chevron in the center, we're going to need to connect the left two bracelets. So that's the outer left as well as this middle one. And we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to take both of the inner strings here, so it's dark blue in both cases, the left hand dark blue on that middle bracelet, and the rightmost blue on the left hand bracelet, and we're gonna knot them together any way you please because they are both blue, as you know. And then we're going to continue just like normal on our center chevron, using the dark blue to do our regular stripe, just as if we hadn't done anything at all. And now at this point, we carry on that leftmost set of strings, just as if we hadn't knotted anything beforehand. Really, the only difference is that we knot two strings of the same color together, then you just carry on like normal, as if we never did it. Once we've done that, I'm going to carry on and do a full color pass connecting at each row, just like we just did. That's personal preference. So the twisted one that I showed at the beginning, I believe I did 9 color passes all attached, then 3 separate to twist the actual bracelet, and 9 color passes attached. So if you wanted to do a look like that with the braid, you could do a similar thing where you do multiple color passes attached together and then one single twist or one single braid in the center, and then the same amount on the other side. In this case, I'm going to do 1 color pass because I want most of this bracelet to be the braided look, because I think that looks pretty cool. So here we are with the magic of editing that took no time. Now I've done a full color pass connected. Now I'm going to separate my bracelets again. So at this point, this is where I'm going to start doing my braided effect. So I got to decide how long I need this to be. So in this case, I end up doing 12 color passes individually. So, and what I mean individually is I'm not connecting these rows. It's again, I'm knotting like they're 3 separate bracelets, and I'm going to do that over each section. So I opted for 12 color passes, and I have 5 colors in this particular bracelet. So that should give you an idea of kind of how long I made this. Normally with these strings, I do about 12 color passes, 12 or 13 color passes for like a regular chevron bracelet, and that's long enough. So that kind of gives you an idea. You have to do, well, if I'm doing 12, 13, 14, 15, you would have 16 color passes all together in this particular pattern, because when you braid, again, the bracelet isn't laying straight. It like weaves back and forth through the braid. So you do need to knot a little bit longer than you normally would. And I think that's probably why by the very, very end of this bracelet, I was kind of like, yes, I remember why I stopped making these for a while. And it's just because by the time you get to the end of it, it's longer. You have to knot longer than you normally do. And by the time you get to the end of it, I was just starting to get antsy to have it done, because it's, you know, it's relatively straightforward. It's not a demanding pattern for me in any means, but I thought you guys would enjoy it, because for some of you, this is your skill level and this is a demanding bracelet for you, and this will take you lots of time and be a lot of hard work. So I think it looks really cool in the end either way. So again, I did 12 color passes of each one individually on all 3 sets, and then we'll jump into our actual technique here that puts our twist on this original classic. Alright, so now we've got all three bracelets the same length. It's time to put a twist on this classic. So in this twisted bracelet, I literally took the two and I just switched them sides, connected them back together, and carried on connecting for the rest of the bracelet. In the case of this bracelet, I did much longer separate sections because I really wanted that full braided effect. So I'm going to go ahead and braid this, and just keep in mind, if you're not like me, like this looks kind of stiff, that's because I'm not quite tight. Like if I hold up one of my bracelets by the end, like it doesn't droop, it's completely solid and straight. So it does look a little stiff, but it will soften over time when it's worn. So I'm just keeping that in mind with how tight I'm deciding to braid. Once I'm happy with how many braids I have, or how many you have, loose, tight, up to you, I'm going to jump into those centermost blue strings on either side and just connect those bracelets back together so I can kind of let them go without the whole braid falling apart. But as you can see, the second one here, I did have to stick my finger in there and pin the knot down just so it didn't come as loose. So this is really going to be the most finicky part of the bracelet, is getting this first color pass back together after this braid, because the tension on those three bracelets that created your braid or your twist is going to want to pull them apart. Just like if you like braid your hair, or braid a doll's hair or whatever, that tension just wants to pull that all back apart, and it's really going to act like that for the next couple rows here. So you can adjust it so it's easier to knot, but know that it's probably still going to shift around a bit until you've got probably 2, maybe 3 lines of your color pass done, at which point you can adjust and it probably won't move anymore because your rows are now strong enough to pull all that tension in and keep it from trying to tear your bracelet apart, basically. And now, just like I did at the top, I'm going to do a full color pass connected, as I said, and then I'm going to do a full color pass separate, just for that symmetrical look. But you guys do whatever you did. If you connected right off the top, you can stay connected right to the very end. Completely up to you. But I think this is such a fun look. So let's zip through the rest of this and I'll show you guys what the finished product looks like. And very quickly at this point, I've done my full color pass. As you can see, the braid looks a lot more stable. The whole bracelet looks a lot more stable now that that full color pass is in. So I'm just going to go ahead and work these one by one back into single chevrons and braid them off as I go so they don't get tangled around each other. And that's it, guys. That's the whole technique. And I think it's such a simple way to elevate basic patterns just to a more aesthetic and interesting, eye-catching kind of look, and I thought it'd be really fun to share. So of course, because we're doing a classic and it's braided, I had to end it with just basic braids. I don't know the last time I ended a bracelet with actual just basic braids. It's been a while, so I thought, why not? Also, that's my small child's hand there. Please ignore that. But that's it. Now we can snip our ends and take a look at our finished product. There you go, guys. Look at that braided look and those colors. Ugh, I think it looks so good. I'm very happy with how this turned out. Hopefully you guys are too. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And until next time, guys, bye.